From SF Land, this is Dorking Out, a podcast for people who love to dork out about movies, TV, and everything pop culture.
Welcome to episode 152 of Dorking Out. My name is Sonia Mansfield, and joining me is my podcasting sister from another mister and co-host of Dorking Out, live from Brooklyn. It's Margo D. Hello, my friend.
I'm right on top of that, Rose.
We are really excited because this week we are dorking out about 1991's Don't Tell Mom, the Babysitter's Dead. And this was a movie that was on all the time. So I'm really excited. I was super happy to revisit and talk about it. What was I was just going to say something else. Oh my God, I'm off to an awful start. So the reason I'm on an awful start is because we already recorded this once and it didn't work. So we're doing it again.
We did this last night and we had so much fun. And then you poor thing, you sent me a text and said, I didn't record anything you said, just me.
It's just me. Me. So maybe I should put that out as like a special like director's cut where it's just me going, I know, right? I know. And then like 2 minutes of like silence and then I know. So ridiculous. But we don't need to talk about that show. We're talking about Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, which is directed by Stephen Herrick, who did like Critters and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. And then after this, he did things like The Mighty Ducks and Three Musketeers and Mr. Holland's Opus. And this stars Christina Applegate and Joanna Cassidy, Josh Charles, Keith Coogan, and David Duchovny in one of his first movies.
I love that it's David Duchovny because, we talked about Working Girl a few episodes ago, and he was basically an extra in that.
Yes.
And now this is his first, he said this is his first or second part when he moved to LA.
And this movie's kind of like a Working Girl for teenagers.
I think they improved. Like you and I said, like we love Working Girl, but the thing that's kind of dated about it is the relationship between Sigourney Weaver and Melanie Griffith, making them enemies. And I think I really like the fact, and we'll talk about this when we go into the plot, but I like it's a buddy comedy. I like how they really, Joanna Cassidy and Christina Applegate are partners. But I'm going to tell you, this is Christina Applegate's movie head to toe.
For sure. She is like, I think she was 19 when they filmed. This is like peak Married with Children fame. Like she was super famous for that. But she was really known as like being beautiful, but her character was super dumb, right? And in this movie, she is the star. I think it's her first lead role. And she's playing somebody, I think, really smart. And she is, everybody drink, adorable in this movie.
The camera loves her. She looks good in every scene, in every outfit, everything. I think she's just so gorgeous. And I love the way that they start the movie. Like she's with her friends at the mall and she lives this existence. So it's her and 4 siblings, and she just graduated high school. And she has this existence where every single one of her friends is going to Europe for the summer. And her mother is just taking off for Australia for 2 months.
With a boyfriend that we never meet.
With the boyfriend we don't know, we never meet. And the father is just not in the picture at all. And that's just sort of like not even really discussed.
And they're leaving all of her children, 5 kids. She's leaving them with a babysitter that she clearly hasn't vetted.
No, she's never met this woman. She knows nothing about her. And we meet the kids, and they all have their, distinct kind of personalities. There's Kenny, who's the stoner. And the mother has no control over these kids. They pretty much just do what they want.
Yeah, there's one that watches TV all day. The other ones are just, what was the other one doing? He's pursuing girls. He's like, what is he, 12 or something? He's like quite the little like Casanova, I guess. Kenny's a stoner. Like Sue Ellen, that's Christina Applegate's character, is out with her friends, like, and the house is a dump, the pool is a swamp, And the mom is leaving her children with an old lady that she's never met, giving her an envelope of money, and then hopping in a cab to go to Australia with her boyfriend. Good mom. What a good mom she is.
And her whole line is just this, because her kid's like, her daughter says, but I really want to do Little League this year. And mom just looks at her and goes, yep, we'll do it next year.
Yeah.
And I'm like, when you're 10, a year is forever.
Yeah.
And she just looks at her and says, I have been for 37 years. After 37 years, I'm just worn out and I need to go.
Sorry,
Like,
mommy needs to get some. Your activity in which you can build your confidence and learn social skills will just have to wait a year.
And she talks to Christina Applegate and at the front of the house. And I don't realize this until I watch this movie. I watched this movie in years, and I watched this a few days ago. And Christina Applegate is actually smoking a cigarette right in front of her mother.
Yeah, this is one of those things that, as we've been revisiting these movies from the like really early 90s and in the 80s, is smoking was super common. And it's weird to see kids smoking and it's not like a thing. Like the parents aren't like, you shouldn't be smoking, or they just smoke. It's a thing. And when I was in high school, we had a smoking section in my school for students, not for teachers. I'm sure the teachers were smoking too, but they had like a lounge or whatever. But we had a smoking section outside for people, for kids to smoke.
And they'd be there, and that's where we bought weed. Like that's where all the bad stuff happened. And then those kids would they'd come into class at the very last second, and they would just stink. Like it would just sit in there. Oh, it was so gross. And then I was talking once to somebody when I was in high school. She was 10 years older than me, and she went to my high school in like the late 70s. And she's like, you don't understand. When I was there, they actually had ashtrays built into the desk. So you didn't even have to go to the smoker's lounge.
That is...
You smoked at your desk and you're like 15.
Yeah, what are you doing? I'm smoking a cigarette and learning about Cuba. Like,
I got to fit into my sassoon somehow,
It's so crazy. And, people don't know this, but, if you're younger, like there used to be like smoking sections in restaurants and on airplanes. Right. And it's like kind of comical to think about it now, because the idea of a smoking section, I mean, basically the whole restaurant or the whole plane then became a smoking section. But there was
everywhere. No, in the office, when I got my first job in New York, they they had a smoker's lounge, but it was in the kitchen, and it was an interior kitchen. So people would go into the kitchen and smoke. The smoke would draft into the office. Mm-hmm. Like they didn't even make them go outside. Like they had their own smokers. Like it just was a thing. And so everywhere people are smoking, and she's smoking throughout the whole movie. All the other adults are. Nobody. It's just not weird. That's just what we did.
I mean, it's weird now, but it was not weird at the time. And so the minute the mom leaves, like she gets in her car, like digs off.
She runs.
She runs away
from them.
Which, as a mom, I can kind of relate
I get
to.
it.
Like sometimes I'm like, bye-bye, mommy loves you, mwah, and then like just runs out the door. I get it. The minute she leaves, like the babysitter is like turns from like nice old lady to this, like, I guess they kind of call her a monster. I don't know if like everything she does makes her quite the monster, but she's really mean, right? She like slaps the cigarette out of Christina. I'm gonna make your life a hell here, and like puts the tomboy in like a pink dress. Girls wear dresses, and and then she sets up like a chore chart for them, which I still don't think is that big of a deal, but they think is like the worst thing that could happen. And she's just this awful mean lady that's going to ruin their summer. And then she goes into Kenny's room. And Kenny's room is like total teenage boy room. It's like naked women on the wall and like black light posters and pot leaves and just...
That was my brother's room.
Yeah. It's a disgusting, gross, nasty room with like, things are like crusty and ew.
He hasn't cleaned those sheets in years.
Yeah. It's gross. It smells bad and ugh. and she's horrified, right? She like backs out of the room. And spoiler alert, the next scene is Sue Ellen finding her dead. It's right in the title, you guys. I didn't want to spoil it for you, but it is right in the title that the babysitter's dead.
And I'm like, so I haven't seen this movie in years. I thought I knew this movie super well, but I watch everything now with captions because I can't hear anything, all this loud rock and roll. So her name is Swell. Like, she's Sue Ellen, but everybody calls her Swell,
Yeah, it's her
which
nickname.
I didn't know. I know. So that freaks me out. But yeah, Swell and the kids are confronting this old lady, and then she's just dead on the floor.
Yeah. I think Penny's room killed her.
Yes.
I think it's so gross, and probably the smell, or she got infected with something.
Yes. I think
old people have compromised immune systems.
So she's dead. And so immediately the kids are like, well, what do we do? And they're like, well, we're not calling mom because no way.
Because that would make sense.
Yes. Why would we do that? We're not going to call an ambulance because then they'll bring somebody over here and bother us. We can't call dad because he doesn't care. I mean, they say this all the time. Dad doesn't care.
Right.
And so they're not going to call any mom's friends because they're nosy or something or other. So they just decide, being brilliant that they are. And the old lady had a cool car. She had this cool vintage car. Yes. So they put the old lady in a trunk and they put her in the car. They wrap her up and they put her in the trunk and they put her in the car and they take her to this funeral home and just kind of say, nice old lady inside.
Died of natural causes.
Died of natural causes.
I love, and the guys were like, good enough for me. Whoever wrote this note is clearly a coroner, so it's fine.
And I'll say this, I think the script is, what's brilliant about the script is like they just drop that. They don't even explore it any further. Just move the plot along. That's all I want you to do.
It was really about like, let's get the kids on their own. Like, so the minute like the old lady's gone, that's that. We're not going to hear about her again until the end.
Right. And so as they are driving away, they realize, oh, hey, mom just gave the old lady a stack of money, didn't give her a checkbook,
right.
Didn't, credit card. Like, this is 1991. There's no internet. There's nothing. So it's just this woman has a stack of cash. And I guess it was a couple of $1,000s. I'm trying to think like how much money she would give someone, but it was enough to like feed them and get groceries and stuff like that. Well, anyway, the money must have been on the old lady and they didn't check for it because they can't find the money now.
And now they're going to starve.
Yeah, exactly. No Giorgio pizza rolls anymore. So they figure out who's going to get a job and who's going to take care of the kids. And they flip the pizza box and she's going to get a job. And so the first job she gets is at this disgusting hot dog stand.
It's so gross. It's called Clown Dog. And it's like, it just looks like it would give you food poisoning.
The scene where she's like to put the chili on the.
So gross.
And I worked in fast food when I was a teenager because I was in New Jersey and that was the law. Like that was where you got your part-time work. And you had to keep them really like I could tell when I look at a place if they keep it clean or not, like whether or not I'll eat there. Right. This place, I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. It looks disgusting. But this is where we meet Josh Charles.
He's so cute.
He's adorable.
He's adorable. Everybody drink.
I'm going to drink right now.
But she obviously hates it there. She lasts one day.
One shift.
Yeah, one shift. Did you work any jobs like that, Margo? Where you made where you lasted exactly one shift or half a shift?
I somehow walked around Ridgewood, New Jersey, which is where we moved to when I was like 16. And there was a little Italian restaurant. And I knew one girl there was in my class and she like worked the front desk or something. And she's like, we just need somebody to like be a gopher and just help people out. And I'm like, oh, great. She didn't tell me that everyone there spoke Italian and not English. So they sent me around to do things and they said nouns that I didn't understand, that means an ice bucket. That means glasses. That means a table. Like I didn't know. And I basically was in tears in a couple of hours. So they gave me like $40 and sent me home. And I was so embarrassed. And my dad was really great about it. He's like, it's okay, Mark. We'll find something. But Italians make me very nervous to this day. I'll be honest with you. It brings it up for me.
That's so sad. I lasted exactly one shift at a Subway sandwich shop, like the chain Subway.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
It was
with Jared, the pedophile.
Yeah, well, he came on to me and I was out. No, that's not what happened at all. I was really, really shy in high school, and I got this job, and they started me on like 2 for 1 night. So it was like the busiest night ever, and I had never had another job before, and I was just very overwhelmed, and it was very exhausting for me to like have to engage with people that I didn't know. And it just wrecked me. And by the end of the shift, like I like ran out of the ran out of the restaurant and like went home and like closed the door. Closed the door. I started crying. I'm like, I could never go back there. Never. My parents were like, oh my God, what is wrong with her?
What's wrong with you? Well,
they are not like that. I am just such a black sheep. I'm like just too shy. I couldn't handle it. It took like another year for me to work up my courage to get another job.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Sonia.
You know, it's those places though, those kind of jobs, it really depends on the crew.
Right.
And I worked at a fast food place in Jersey that doesn't exist anymore, but it was called Roy Rogers. And we had to wear like little cowboy hats. And I'm not kidding you, little wrap dresses and nursing shoes. So sexy.
Hot.
But it's wicked hot. But all of us went to different high schools. So we didn't fit in at the high school we were at, but we kind of all clicked together here at this dumb job on the evenings and weekends. And we became like the best of friends.
Aww.
And it was like, it actually was a really good experience, but it's a hard job. The public's filled with assholes.
Yes.
Very entitled. And it's a greasy job. It's a smelly job. It's a lot of like grease, elbow grease, my dad would say, like mopping and stuff like that. It's hard work. So, and you pay, and then on top of that, you're paid minimum wage. So how the hell was she going to pay? She wouldn't be able to take care of that family anyway on that.
No, she wouldn't have. And, even though Josh Charles is really cute, it wasn't enough to get her to last more than one shift. So she tips on out the door at the end of her shift and decides to get a job, like an office job that'll pay a little bit more and is not gross. So she types up her resume that she copies from a book, like a resume book. She just like changes some of the names and the dates and walks into what she thinks is like a high-end fashion company, but it turns out they make like student uniforms and nurse uniforms and things like that. Anyway, she goes in to like submit her resume, and this actress is at the reception desk. You will recognize her. Her name is Jane Brooke, and she plays the bitchy woman in so many movies that
I don't think she can help it. She has that like super preppy look about her.
Yeah.
Like just that queen bee kind of look about her.
Yeah. So she's at the reception desk. Sue Ellen comes in with her fake resume that no one seems to know is fake, and bumps into Joanna Cassidy, who then immediately hires her as her executive assistant, and denying Jane Brooke that job.
Jane Brooke was supposed to get that job, and like in any company, you have to go through human resources, and human resources, you gotta butter them up so that you can hire the people you want. Like I think the person that worked on this movie, they actually do know something about how offices work.
Yes.
Because they get a few touches right. Now, what they don't get right is that Rose just looks at her and goes, "You're hired. Just come follow me."
Yeah.
Like there's no looking at the resume. There's no double checking. They don't ask for references.
No.
They don't ask for anything.
No.
And she just says, "Oh, just tell human resources. It's fine." And then just takes her right upstairs and says, "Here's your office.
And here's the key
your
to
desk.
the petty cash."
Here's the petty cash. And you get in, you're going to get health insurance, and you're going to get a 401k and blah, blah, blah. And it's just, and I appreciate that too, by the way, because just get me into the movie.
Yeah.
Get her in the job, get her working.
That's one of the things this movie does really well is we don't care if we're going to accept that an old lady babysitter just drops dead and the kids just drop her off and are going to live out their summer. We don't need all the like realistic shit. Just go. Just move on to the next thing. And I appreciate that.
And I appreciate, that's my ham-handed segue, Joanna Cassidy. I think she's so adorable in this movie. Everybody drink.
She's awesome. Like she's having the most fun The
she just,
most fun.
she has these twinkly eyes. I love the hairdo. I adore her laugh. She laughs in every movie that she's in. People, because her laugh is adorable
It
and
is. Everybody
addictive.
drink.
Everybody drink. She's just, and immediately she doesn't look at Chris. And in any other movie, she'd get this pretty young assistant, and in a worse movie, she would be mean to her, right?
Yes. It
She'd
would
be
be Worky Girl.
resentful and jealous, right? Like, oh, this pretty young, I'm going to work her to death. Not even for a second. She takes her at face value, like, hey, come on, let's do this together. Be my assistant. Let's get in there. And it's so wonderful to see. Everybody wants a boss like Rose.
Yeah.
She's great.
She's a team player. Like,
Yep.
she is super impulsive, but she trusts her gut.
Right.
She asks for like 2 things, basically. One is for Swell to say, I'm right on top of that, Rose, whenever people on the phone ask for things. So it sounds like they're really busy. And, she just asks her to like run these reports that she doesn't run. She gets someone else to run for her. That's delegating, though. So
Yeah,
good
no, and
job. But they're a
the
team.
QED reports. Yeah, they're a team, and it's QED reports, and it's very old-fashioned technology. And that QED report with the perforated sides, like that's how they used to print
Yeah.
out things. It gives me a headache to look at it every time I see this movie. Like, I wouldn't know what to do either. I don't know what to do with Excel. I can barely add a column with it.
Right.
When people want me to put out a really expansive Excel sheet with stuff, I'll be honest, I ask a friend to do it
Yeah.
because I can't.
Excel
But
is my nemesis.
oh, it's the worst.
It's the worst. So she gets her office and she's at her desk, and immediately she meets like the office creeps. So here comes David Duchovny.
He's so
in his
great.
like totally 80s suit, even though the movie's set in 91, with the loud print shirt and the slick back hair. And he's like, who the hell are you? And she's like, who the hell are you? Like, she dishes it back out to him. And he's gross. He's kind of eye fucking her. It's nasty because she's 17, but he doesn't know that. Anyway, she sends him on his way. Like, fuck you. Bye. Like, scoots him out the door. And then Rose's boyfriend / someone else who works in the company comes in, and he's so gross too.
Right.
Like, what a creep. And he's like jokingly coming on to her like, if you wanted to get together, we could. I'm just kidding. It's so gross. But I love that Sue Ellen is smart enough to recognize like what he's doing and recognize like, this is Rose's boyfriend, so I need to be nice to him.
Right.
It's
she has to be a little political.
Yeah, and she's just not an idiot. She's
right.
Not naive. I mean, she's naive about some other things, but not that.
We'll get to the things she's naive about.
Yeah.
But men, she's actually, for a 17-year-old girl, I mean, and she's so, like we said, beautiful. She must get hit on all the time.
Yes.
And like teachers and stuff, I'm sure, are really weird and around her. But she handles herself very well.
Yes.
Did you have teachers like that? I had teachers in high school that were so creepy around like the really pretty girls.
I never noticed that, but I hear about stuff like that now all the time.
I had a teacher in the 7th grade. He was a science teacher, and he would like set up experiments. And so you then pair off and you do the experiment. And you just walk around the room, and he would constantly ask the really popular girls, who's dating who and who's boyfriend.
Ugh.
And I remember I'm 12 and I'm going to throw up right now. This is so inappropriate. But anyway, Sue Ellen is so pretty. I'm sure her whole life people treated her a certain way,
yes.
but she doesn't use that as currency. She just goes in, she uses her brains. She's so poised. I really like Sue Ellen.
Yeah, me too. So she gets this job that pays $37,500 a year. She's like, I'm rich, which
it's good money when it's 1991.
Yeah. Especially when you were coming from a minimum wage fast food job.
Right.
So she takes her family out to like Chuck E. Cheese for dinner that night. And as they're leaving the restaurant, a bunch of drag queens steal their car.
So random.
I'm like, I can't even get through the sentence without laughing. The idea, it's like a bunch of drag queens steal their car. Of course they do. And they're like, there's Liza. Liza. And it never comes back. There's never we never see the drag queens again. We never see the car again. There's no callback to that joke. It's just, a bunch of drag queens stole their car.
they already had a car. The mom had a car.
Yes.
They didn't need a car. It just was kind of a cool car that the old lady was in. And then you're thinking, well, they're stealing the old lady's car. What if they get picked? That's what I thought. I'm like, oh, they're going to get picked up for stealing a car, and then they're going to look for the old lady, and then they're going to get back to the kids, and that's what's going to happen.
Oh my God, you've written a whole other movie that
a whole other act.
I never even thought about that.
That's what I thought the first time I saw that. I'm like, well, I think that's kind of funny, but that's what's going to happen. No, they just drag queens show up and leave with the car. Okay. Movie. My God. Okay.
I like this version better. I don't want to see the drag queens go to jail for the old lady's murder.
I think that trial would be amazing, though.
Yeah, it would be. It would be fabulous. So she calls Josh Charles for a ride. He is the only one that she knows with a car, and he's got the like clown dog mobile, and shows up and gives them a ride and asks her out on a date. And of course she says yes.
Because he's Josh Charles.
Because he's Josh Charles. And they it's maybe a little underdeveloped, but they do have a very sweet like chemistry, and they're both like, good kids, and they're like nervous, and their moments are very, very sweet.
It's a nice romance. It's a really sweet like summer romance they're having.
Yeah. And so as she's like Sue Ellen's doing her work and trying to make that money, Stoner Kenny is staying at home, and all of his stoner friends are eating all the food that she's buying. Like she took like a little bit of money from petty cash with like an IOU basically to finally get them some groceries, and then Kenny and all of his stoner friends eat it all. So she gives him like a big lecture about being like more responsible and all these things. And there's just like a running thing throughout the movie about like the division of work, where she's like, I'm working all day, and like Kenny's like, you don't pay attention to me, and you didn't even notice that the house is clean, or this sort of thing. But there is the very famous scene where Kenny and his stoner friends do the dishes, and he throws the dishes and into the air, and they shoot him down, and the dishes are done, man.
And that shit's funny.
It is still funny, and I say that every night when I do the dishes. I am not even joking. I literally say it every night when I do the dishes. The dishes are done, man. And then my husband rolls his eyes like, ugh, yes, lady, you do the dishes.
My brother was a total stoner, and he had stoner friends like that. And when my parents were working all day, my brother and his stoner friends would be in his room listening to loud music, smoking something. It's so believable to me. Like, some people think it's over the top. Like, that's what they all acted like, as far as I knew. Yeah.
One of the things I like about this movie, there's a lot of things. I keep saying one of the things. It's a long list, but I feel like the kids in this movie do feel like kids. Like the teenagers in this movie feel like teenagers to me, and they do teenage things. Like I knew a lot of kids like Kenny and his friends when I was in school, and I knew girls like Sue Ellen who were really smart and had their shit together, and I feel like she does. And I knew like tomboy girls and all of the kid that's obsessed with television and all of it. I knew all of those people, and I like the relationship between all the kids in this movie, and how I don't love that like Sue Ellen's siblings steal from her.
Okay, so this is what we have to talk about.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's get into this.
So Sue Ellen is so smart about so many things, but she takes the office petty cash, and she takes a lot of it.
Yes.
And cash into her handbag, and then she just leaves her handbag around the house. Yes. So all the siblings take turns stealing from her handbag, and she never notices it until it's gone, basically. Yes. And so one of the so one of them, the kid is it Walter that's obsessed with TV? Is that his name? Yeah, he gets this huge stereo system, and they can't return it because it was on sale, but he paid cash. But how much was that? Because that's like 2 VCRs and a bunch. Yeah. I mean,
it's ridiculous.
It's
I'm like,
loaded.
how much petty cash were you walking around with in your purse? Like that he could steal like clearly thousands of dollars to buy this entertainment system. The other kid steals something to buy like a diamond ring for
it's
like
just a chip
for a girl that he's got a crush on. You know, they're all like stealing from her, and it's just yeah,
it's frustrating.
She leaves her purse lying around. It gets her a few times.
It does get her in trouble a few times. And then she's dealing with office politics. And like I said, I feel like the writer, the director, somebody did work in an office because they got some things super right. Like the first time in the 90s when you used a fax machine, even now when you give me a fax machine, I have to stare at it for a second. Like, all right, does this thing face up or face down?
Yeah.
Does it go in this thing or does it go in that thing? It was a big deal, and you did have to fax. And I remember like 20 years ago having to fax things, and the line would be busy, and you could be at that thing all day.
Yes.
And people would have arguments at the fax machine, like if it ran out of paper or toner.
And it's the same thing with printers, basically. Yep. Like it's still the same thing with printers. And there's a Carolyn in everybody's office, which is the busybody receptionist. Like if she spent like half the time she spends butting her nose into shit that is not her business, she would be like towards like doing a good job. She'd be like president of the company by now. But instead she's like obsessed with like trying to find a way to bring Sue Ellen down, which is very silly. And
it's not going to happen.
And it doesn't
Rose
happen.
Likes her.
Yeah, because Rose likes her. Exactly.
Everybody likes her. Rose sends her around because she gets along with everybody. And I love the Kimmy, the character that she helps her with the QED reports. And she played Lucy on Twin Peaks.
She's so cute.
Kimmy Robertson, she plays Kathy. And she helps her with those QED reports. And she's really good with like the staff in the basement that works with all the clothes and sends it out there. The only thing is that she has to every once in a while deal with Sue Ellen's creepy boyfriend.
And so gross.
He's so gross, and he does that thing where he hits on her and then she gives him a look. He goes, "Oh, I'm just kidding. Unless you're not kidding." And like every woman's been with like a creep like this. You're like, ugh.
Yeah, it's
like
yucky.
And then you're bitchy because you don't think they're funny.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you don't need to get uptight. I'm just joking.
Just joking. What's your problem? Yeah.
I hate those people.
Yeah.
So while she's dealing with all that, Kenny's at home watching Julia Child on PBS. He's become like the stay-at-home dad, and he's decided that he loves cooking. So there's like a lot of cooking going on, which I don't know. I can see for like that kind of type. Like it's a transition that makes complete sense to me.
Well, he has the munchies. He's stoned all the time.
Like, so now I can make my own waffles.
Why would we make my own waffles, man? But one time he's like doing bong hits with his friends, and poor Walter goes to the roof because that's when you used to have. Remember, you had an antenna on your roof.
Yes.
Did you have that when you were a kid?
Oh yeah.
And my dad would be up there cursing like a sailor when it didn't work. Don't! God damn it! But so Kenny went up there to try to fix the antenna, falls off the roof and breaks his goddamn leg. So Sue Ellen gets a call at the office, and that's when, and everybody's trying to guess how old she is. She doesn't really like to say.
Yes.
And I guess she never had to show her driver's license when she got her paperwork.
I don't know. How are you getting paid?
How is she doing it? She, like, I know. But then she just says, "Oh, I'm divorced. I'm 27 and I'm divorced and I have a couple of kids." And so then people kind of, which is funny because she never brought up that she had kids before.
Yes.
And so that's when Kenny's like, shit, I got to get my shit together. You know what I mean? I got to grow up here. I really could have hurt him. He feels bad. So then he becomes more of the house dad.
Yes.
And he takes the sister to Little League, and he tries to counsel. Oh, we didn't mention the other brother, but that poor guy. The actor played him. Passed away.
Yeah, he grew.
Zach.
Had drug problems and passed away.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
Which is really sad. So what happens is that Rose finds out that they're losing a big account, and they make uniforms.
The movie, once again, came out in 91, but it's so 80s.
Yes.
We don't want to lose the big deal. What if we lose the big deal? We don't. We have to please the client.
And they're always talking about New York, and the New York office is where all the action is at. And that's the better office because it's in the hub of fashion. And we're competing with New York. We can't let New York know. So Sue Ellen, Rose is freaking out. I love it. She grabs the jar of like the Skittles or M&Ms, like it
Starts
just
stuffing her face.
which is me when I'm upset. Yes. I totally relate.
Yes.
And so and Sue Ellen's like, I need this job. We got to do something. And Sue Ellen walks around amongst all of the fabrics and everything. And that's when she clicks on the idea. Well, what if we just update these in really ugly colors?
They're already really ugly. How can we make it fashionably ugly?
We'll make them so trendy that within 6 months after this movie, it will be out of style. Which is what they start to do. Yeah. And I love it. She's sketching with like markers.
And it's totally like Pretty in Pink, where she's like putting the shitty dresses together. I don't want to say shitty dresses because Annie Potts' dress is really cute, but she's putting all the dresses together, and she does this like sketch that like my 7-year-old could make. And that's kind of what was happening here too.
And Sue Ellen, how long is she at this job? Like a month? Like does she get 2 paid? A lot happens in a short amount of time.
It's true.
But Sue Ellen convinces them, try my idea and let's do this. Let's do a fashion show and show how updated we are. And we're with the kids. They try to convince these schools to buy uniforms for the kids. This is like kind of heartbreaking because it's getting more dangerous at the schools.
Yeah.
And it's like, you guys have no idea.
Yeah.
Like
it's only about to get worse.
Oh, it's going to get so much worse.
Can you make your uniforms bulletproof? That's what would happen now.
Or look like camouflage, like look like a blackboard or something. Yes. So you can kind of,
I would like to wear a dress that looks like a locker, please.
I want to look like the hall closet. That's me.
Ridiculous. That's a whole side rant.
Yeah, that's a whole side rant. But so Sue Ellen, and then she realizes that she's out of money because the kids have stolen everything.
Yeah, Rose is saying like, use the petty cash to fund this fashion show. So
she says, all right. She goes home and she says to the kids, look, you got me in this shit. You got to help me out. We're going to hold it at my and it is a nice house once they cleaned it up.
Yes.
And I love it that all of their friends chip in. Everybody comes together and everybody cleans the house and mows the lawn and they do ice sculptures and they finally clean that pool. Like why that woman didn't keep that pool clean in the first place, who knows?
And Kenny caters it.
Yep.
And a bunch of them
he looks good. He gets a haircut.
He gets a haircut, and they all are like working as like waiters and, like working the lights and all these things, like all working together. And it's actually another thing about the movie I really enjoyed was watching the friends, especially like Sue Ellen's friends and Kenny's friends. They're all really different. Like her friends are like rich and popular, and Kenny's friends are like a bunch of burnouts. Like watching them like be excited and happy for each other and like really rooting for each other was a really sweet moment. And I think that it's just one of those things about the movie that because it was on all the time back, because it played in theaters, but then it was like also produced by HBO. So then HBO had it on like multiple times a day for years. And it's just such a like nice movie. Other than a babysitter dying.
I like the scene where Kenny is talking to his burnout friend and he says to him, because I guess he's going to be a senior, this new year. And he had all D's in his last report card. He tells his friend, I think I'm going to work harder because after I want to go to culinary school. And his friend just goes, I think that'd be cool. Yeah. They support each other.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's just nice little moments like that.
Yeah.
But before we get to the end, I want to say, like, do we love the idea that she's having the fashion show at her house? I mean, what could go wrong, right?
Well, first, it's ludicrous because, like, where are they exactly in Los Angeles? Because Los Angeles is spread out.
Yes.
And so to get to anywhere, but she says, I have this fabulous house, and she does once they have it all set up.
Yes.
And they have the parking and everything. And so I guess they bring the buyers come by, and she has her friends as models. And I worked for Condé Nast in like the early aughts, and I worked at like Lucky magazine, and I've been to lots of fashion shows. I would give anything to be in the audience for this fashion show. This is the best by far. I love it.
Would you wear any of the clothes?
If I used to be able to wear that nurse's outfit, I used to wear dresses like that really slender cut.
Mm-hmm.
I can't fit in those now, so I think I would do more of like the blousey thing. That's like the soccer coach or the what is that called? The referee kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think I could sell that. I think I could look good in that. I don't know about the bellhop outfit though.
I wouldn't wear any of that. I might wear the colors though, because I do love to wear a bunch of crazy colors.
You wear colors really well though.
Oh well, thank you. You're nice. That's my toddler grandma style. I just
love that.
So I love that. So here we go again. I love. One of the things I love about it too, like you mentioned it earlier about how Rose is a really supportive, like awesome boss. And she really like wants Sue Ellen to shine and like doesn't try to steal her idea. You know, she actually like helps her, supports her, and like gives her the platform to like show everybody what she can do. And meanwhile, like bitchy Carolyn and David Duchovny have got a hold of Sue Ellen's driver's license.
Now, how did they get it?
Because she left her purse lying around in the office.
Sue Ellen has got to do a better job in her life of knowing where her purse is.
She needs a cross strap.
Yes.
Like, just keep it on you, girl. Just keep it on you. So like they get her license and they see that she's 17 and they're like, "We've got you." Yeah. And so they show up and they show it to Rose and Rose is like, "Who cares?"
She literally doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
She's so besotted she just loves her as an assistant. She sees so much potential in her. She's like, "I don't care. I'll take the heat." She's doing a great job. And Rose is like the best boss ever.
She is. She is.
She really is.
And everything seems to be going really well. Like everyone loves the food and the fashion show part goes off really well. And then dun dun dun, Mom comes back. I guess I don't know if things didn't work out with her boyfriend or maybe she actually missed her kids. Who knows? But she back.
Calls once that we know of.
Yeah, she calls like
once
I
or
think
twice.
She calls like 2 times.
But one of the kids goes, "I thought you were coming home next week." And she's just very casual, like, "Nah, I'm home now."
Yeah.
And her home is completely overrun by all these people at a fashion show and an ice sculpture. And she just kind of has her hands in her pockets and she's like in her Outback gear, kind of like casually walking around like, "I'm upset."
See, now I'm actually convinced that she didn't go to Australia at all and that she just had a summer job at the Outback.
She just had a fling. She just was like.
She had a fling with the chef from the Outback, and that's where she's been this whole time.
Do they have those koala blue stores then? Remember Olivia Newton-John had these Australian stores? Maybe she did.
Yeah, maybe she was working there. I get it, though. The bloomin' onions at Outback are really, really good. They're
delicious.
Yeah. I would also like to spend a summer just eating bloomin' onions.
So
then
she
comes home.
She
comes home and is like, "You're in big trouble, young lady." And Sue Ellen is up there like on the platform and she says like, "I can't handle this anymore. Like I'm a teenager and sorry." And then my favorite part, David Duchovny, the creep show, sitting in the audience going, "Justice is served." And he's like, "Yeah," like fist pump, like, "Yeah, justice is served." I'm like, what an asshole.
And then, but also Sue Ellen's boyfriend shows up at the very same time. Yeah. They had a fight. They had like a little tiff. And he's so upset. And he's back in that hot dog car going, "Sue Ellen, I love you."
And we forgot this part. He is bitchy Carolyn's brother, which is totally random. Doesn't need to be a thing.
No.
But there it is. And it makes no difference.
Right.
Actually, no difference in the plot at all of this movie that they are brother and sister. Because they're still going to be together at the end. He doesn't care if his bitchy sister doesn't like her, apparently.
No. Well, and it's bitchy sister, like, So they leave. They leave the car. The car is all keyed up or soaped up or whatever. Like they didn't care about them at all.
No.
And then Sue Ellen just says to her mother very calmly, like, all right, look, we're all tired. There's a lot to explain. Why don't you just go to bed? Everybody just go to bed. Let's clean up and we'll just talk about it in the morning. Like she's just very calm and casual.
Because she's an
And
adult now.
Yeah. And her mother just turns right around and goes to bed. She's like, okay.
Well, and the tomboy daughter's like, okay, Mom. I mean, Sue Ellen. And I'm like, oh, that's such a burn on you, Mom. She thinks Sue Ellen's a better mom. Sue Ellen signed her up for softball. What have you done lately? She's
going to be a very angry, like college student age girl. Like she's going to have a lot of anger in her about her mother later. You left us.
She's 100% going to have those things.
Yeah.
She's going to write a really great book and I would read it.
And what else happens?
I just, and then at the end, Sue Ellen and cutie Josh Charles are making out, and then the mom comes back out and says, like, what happened to the babysitter? And it's like, and then the music plays, and that's the end. And I love that. That's it. That's it for the babysitter. Like, no, it's fine. Who cares? They do establish that she didn't have any family. So
right.
It's not like anyone's going to miss her.
She had no family at all. She was mean. Yeah, she didn't give a shit.
So she didn't have any friends.
She didn't care about the kids at all.
No.
So, yeah, it's okay that she's dead.
This is just such a fun movie. Like,
it is.
And I know why, like, younger people super loved it. And I know why I loved it when it came out. Because, you know, when you're younger, like, you just want to grow up. And when you're grown up, you're like, I wish I was younger and I didn't have these responsibilities. Like, it's like a nice little safe movie. It's not like challenging. It's not mean-spirited other than the babysitter being dead.
No, and it's one of those movies you can have on when you're doing something else. Like you could be folding laundry, you could be switching out your closets, you know, getting your receipts for your taxes. Like you can just kind of have this on and it's just totally fine.
Yeah.
And it'll just make you laugh and you'll recognize the scenes you like. And one of the top lines ever is, I'm right on top of that rose. I mean, I say that all the time still.
I did some Googling and I had sent you, like, you could buy like a lapel pin and it's Rose and she's holding up like a QED report. Like, and it's just so funny that, like, it's the thing. Or you can buy like mugs that say like, I'm right on top of that Rose. And it's such a fun movie.
It is.
And I mentioned to some, friends over the weekend that I was going to be talking about this movie. And I mean, everybody was like, I love that movie. I love it. I watched it so much back in the day. And I was like, of course you did, because you're not a monster.
I kind of judge people that don't know it, or like, because when I say when I'm right on top of that rose, if somebody doesn't know what I'm talking about, I kind of judge them.
Yeah, you're like, maybe we can't be friends.
Yeah, there's something up. There's something up with you. So I looked up the top songs.
Ooh, tell me.
So the movie comes out in July of 1991. We should also say it was not a hit at the time. It really tanked.
No,
it was a VHS hit. It was like when you got it on tape.
Yeah, I looked this up. It had a 33% on Rotten Tomatoes. Not that Rotten Tomatoes is like a great gauge of that sort of thing, but it came out the same weekend as City Slickers and Jungle Fever, and it kind of just got lost in the shuffle. They really thought they had like the next Heathers on their hand, and they did not. But it really found its cult status via HBO, I think.
Yeah. So July of 1991, these were the top songs. There's Everything I Do It For You from Bryan Adams.
More on that later.
Yeah, just hang on to that, you guys. Just tuck that away in the back of your head. The next one, I Love This, Love This, Love This. The song is Rush, Rush by Paula Abdul.
Dreamy Keanu Reeves. That's the best thing about that. I actually really like that song because
too.
I like Paula Abdul, and I loved that video. because he was so dreamy.
He's so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about him when we talked about Point Break. And then up next was Wind of Change by the Scorpions. Which I listen to a classic rock station here just when I'm like cleaning up or something and I don't want to be challenged. And here, I don't know why they do, but in New York, they play it all the time.
Oh my God.
I don't know if there are a lot of Germans here or something. I don't know. It's always just whatever. And then here's a song. You would hear it everywhere you went, and they still play it way too much now, but it's from Jesus Jones, Right Here, Right Now.
That song is still everywhere. I'm like, why? It's not that good of a song.
No, it's not.
It was
I
so overplayed
weird.
then and strangely overplayed now. Very weird.
And I also looked up because Keith Coogan was kind of like a rising star at the time, and he was in Adventures in Babysitting, which is another awesome movie.
Love that movie.
He and Elizabeth Shue, who's adorable.
Adorable, everybody drink.
And then Hiding Out, which is a movie I love. It's him with John Cryer.
I haven't seen that one in so long. I
bet I would loved it. Yeah. But yeah, that's what I got for 1991. Oh, Cousins. You're right. We need to talk about that someday.
Which is the movie I bring up.
You do all the time.
All the time. I haven't watched it in a really long time. Why is it on my brain? It keeps popping up. I'm like, Cousins. Can
we talk about Cousins?
Can we talk about Cousins? How about Cousins? So I wrote down some 91 movies, and I did a little, I dug a little deeper because we've done a couple 91 episodes. Not Without My Daughter.
Mm-hmm.
L.A. Story. Love L.A. Story.
Love that movie.
Sleeping with the Enemy. Which
we need to do that.
We're putting that on the list.
Oh, hell yeah.
The Doors. New Jack City. Defending Your Life.
Great movie.
I love that one. Drop Dead Fred.
Great movie.
That is so fun. What About Bob?
I'm doing the work. I'm baby stepping. I'm not a slacker.
I'm sailing. Backdraft.
God, I love that movie. Backdraft's good too.
Boys in the Hood.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my favorite on the list. Cool as Ice. Cape Fear and Beauty and the Beast.
I don't mean to date myself, but I'm going to. I was actually in the Doors movie as an extra.
What? Okay, we're going to have that story sometime.
Yeah, we need to do that. We have to do that movie sometime.
Yeah.
Because it's batshit. But yeah, I'll tell you that. I'll save that for later. But yeah, I was in one of the concert scenes.
Okay, I definitely want to hear that story. So I'm going to move that movie up our list. Do you want to go into what else you're dorking out about?
Yeah, I'll do it real quick.
Yeah, let's.
Because you know me, I got to watch my Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
I'm not cutting into that time. I get it.
So I'm dorking out about. I just saw Bohemian Rhapsody finally. Excuse me. It's okay.
Yeah, I still haven't seen it. I heard it's like basic biopic.
Yeah. Really into The Dropout about Theranos, and that's Elizabeth Holmes. And then I also I just got into on Amazon Lorena.
Still, yep, that's on my list.
And it's executive produced by Jordan Peele, and it's all about Lorena. She was known as Lorena Bobbitt at the time, and this is 1993. Very famous story, tabloid story. A woman cut her husband's penis off, leaves the house. She's I think she's from Venezuela or Nicaragua. Where's she from?
I don't remember.
But she's married to this former Marine. He's unemployed at the time, and she works at a nail salon. And she, and by the way, she people are like, oh, she claimed abuse. She called the cops many times.
Right.
The cops had visited the home many times. But anyway, she cuts off his penis. That's actually the big part of the story.
Yes.
And then throws it out a window when she's driving. And the penis is then reattached to John Bobbitt. And then
my child.
I know. The guy that found the penis, he's one of the talking heads. He's giggling the whole frigging time.
I would probably do the same thing.
I think
Because
that's an amazing cope.
in my head, like she throws it out a window and it like hits someone in the head, right? And then, like that's why, and it's like doing, like because I'm a child. That's.
But a lot of people, I don't know if you weren't alive then or you were really young, you don't remember this. It was everywhere. This story,
and it was just such a punchline, right? Like
right, she was a punchline.
Just she's gonna go all Lorena Bobbitt on you. She's the lady who cut off his dick. Like it was a joke,
right?
But it's not a funny story. It's an awful story.
It's an awful story, and she was portrayed as this, the fiery Latina who got jealous or something, and nothing could be further from the truth. When you find, and John Wayne Bobbitt is just a big piece of shit, and just like he's such a liar, and he's so awful. But here's the thing, you guys, Lorena's doing great. She gets through it fine. She's married, spoiler, but she's married, she has a kid, she's helping other women. She's okay now.
This is going to make it way easier for me to watch it.
Yeah, because the middle section, the first trial, he was actually tried for marital rape and he was acquitted because whatever. And then every time this was brought up on talk shows, men were so mad at her because, I guess it's their biggest fear.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
Don't be a creep, and maybe your wife won't be whatever.
Hey, maybe you don't beat up and rape your wife.
Abuse your wife. Yeah. So then there was a second, because they got divorced, and there was a second trial, and it was about she was tried basically for the cutting off the penis, but she was playing by reason of insanity, but it was not. It was more like in the moment she had an irresistible urge. There was some. I'm sorry, I'm not remembering the terminology. But she was on trial for this, and it was such a media circus. Every night, like David Letterman had jokes about it. Geraldo Rivera showed up with a film crew and outside and would scream, "Lorena, I love you, marry me." I mean, just the way this woman was treated is just awful. And then the Latin community there rallied together to be her support, and she saw that. And there's some really beautiful moments here, and like I said, she's okay now. He's a big piece of shit, and but you did not know a quarter of what was really going on, and it was such a big story. It's hard to explain to people.
I'm definitely gonna watch it. And you mentioned it before, and it reminded me of the documentary about the woman who got burned by hot coffee. I think it's just called Hot Coffee or something. And it's just this like story where like someone got coffee from McDonald's and she had it in her lap while she pulled forward in the drive-thru, and like it spilled on her and she sued McDonald's. And like it's just this joke lawsuit. But then when you realize like she got like third-degree burns, like she was, and it just shows you like you don't know like the whole story. So I'm really looking forward to watching that, and it's definitely on my list.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
So I will go through what I'm dorking out about really fast. I finally saw Roma on Netflix. And
how is that?
It's so good. It's so good, and it's just beautiful. Like it's beautiful to look at. The story's really good. I really, really liked it. I definitely in the last third like got very tense because you really care about these people and you don't want anything bad to happen. But it's a very, very good movie. And then for my other podcast, Old Movies, New Beer, we're going to do a double feature of Stop Making Sense and True Stories. So I watched Stop Making Sense, which was the first time I had ever seen it, and I loved it. And
that's my favorite concert film, by the way.
And I tweeted out, I was like, this is not a concert film. It is an exercise video. I am in awe of his stamina in that movie. It is crazy. I super loved it. And we watched True Stories last night, and it was really fun. And it was fun to see a young John Goodman. And I'm really enjoying it. I can't wait to record when we talk about it. It's going to be really great.
I love Stop Making Sense because the Talking Heads have amazing songs. I mean, I love their catalog. but they really do it different live.
Yeah.
You know, they really put a new twist, which is good, which is what you want from a live show. You don't want it to sound just like it does on the radio I play Once in a Lifetime.
Yeah.
That one. I do that as a climb in my spin classes.
Mm-hmm.
People lose their goddamn minds. They get so into like the bass, Tina Weymouth's bass. Oh my God, it's so much fun.
I love that song. This is not my beautiful house.
This is not my beautiful wife. And let me tell you, you love that song when you're like 18.
Yeah.
When you're way older than that, you totally get what he's talking about.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a whole new meaning.
Yeah. It was really, really fun. And I don't even think you necessarily need to be a Talking Head fan to like the movie. It's really, really good. So quickly, where can people find you on the internet?
The best thing to do is follow me on social media at Brooklyn Fit Chick, and especially on Instagram and Twitter. I post about all the shows I work on, and my spiffy looking new blog that thanks to you is so Brooklyn. It looks awesome. It's Brooklyn Fit Chick. So all the shows I work on, I post there, and I also post on Twitter and Instagram, like I just said. So please say hi if you're watching the show. Let me know where you are and any suggestions.
And we take requests, and go to Apple Podcasts and leave us a review, because all of our reviews are super old. They're from they're from the old host, you guys. So, you know, if you like the show, and I know you do, go give us a review. You can find me at The Sonia Show on Twitter. That's Sonia with an I, and thesoniashow.com. And you can find Dorking Out at dorkingout.com. That's right, just dorkingout.com. And Dorking Out Show on Twitter and Facebook, because those are taken, and they won't give them up to me. So this was super fun again.
I know. I think we did a great job.
It was. Really
I feel good about this. I feel really good about this.
Me too. I really loved it. Thank you so much for rewatching this with me.
Absolutely, and we're looking forward to our next one. We're gonna have a special guest again.
I know. that one's gonna be bananas. You guys, you're gonna love it.
Yep.
The podcast is done, man.
I'm right on top of that, Rose.